Hi everyone! Welcome back to my channel, Everlynn's Books and Tea. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. Today we are going to be doing a reading challenge, and the challenge that we will be doing is the bookshelf scavenger hunt. I got this idea from Ellen Catherine's and Riley Marie's channels, which I'll link below. Definitely go check them out. I enjoy watching all of their videos. But basically what you do is you have a set of 10 prompts, and you go through each prompt until the very last prompt, where that prompt will give you the book that you're going to read for the scavenger hunt. So the prompts in this video are inspired by the prompts that Ellen and Riley used in their videos. I just tweaked them a little bit just to kind of fit my reading style. So with that, let's get started with the very first prompt and see what we will be reading in this video. So how we're starting the scavenger hunt is I'm going to find all the books I read in June that were physical books, and then we'll choose one at random, and that book will kick off our scavenger hunt. So let me go grab those and I'll be right back. All right, so I read 3 physical books in June. Most of my reading in June was actually electronic books, but I have them all right here. We have A Tempest of Tea, City of Ashes, part of the Mortal Instrument series, and A Vow So Bold and Deadly. So we'll choose one of these books at random and then move on to our second prompt. So let me pull up a random number generator. This will be book 1, 2, 3, and we'll see which book we'll be starting with. All right, so the number we got is book 3. So that's this book right here, City of Ashes by Cassandra Clare. So the second prompt says to look at the color on the cover, and then we need to find a book that has the complementary color on when you look at a color wheel on that cover. So like orange is the complementary color of blue. Now this book is mostly gray, and gray is not on that I can't say that word, complementary color wheel. So instead of going with gray, we'll use the gold lettering, so we'll go with yellow. That is the color of the title. So the complementary color of yellow is purple, so we have to go find a book that has purple on the cover, and I can tell you right now, purple is a color that I, A, don't see a lot in books, and B, I don't think I buy a lot of books that have purple covers, so this could be a little bit more challenging. So let's see what I have in either my TBR cart or this bookshelf over here. If nothing's here, I have another bookshelf in another room that we may have to go to. All right, purple. All right, so there's actually 2 books back here that have purple on the cover, and they are Darker by 4. So this is like, I don't know if I would call, I think it's kind of like a purple. It's like a purplish blue, and it's not like the whole cover. But we also have The Spirit Bares His Teeth, and there's definitely a lot of purple on here. So these 2 are definitely good options. So I think we'll go with The Spirit Bares His Teeth. I feel like this is a more purpley cover than this one is. So let's go with this one. And now we need to see what our next prompt is. All right, so the second prompt is to look at this cover and find a book that has a similar cover that includes at least one or more of the elements of this cover. So let's take a look, see what's on this cover. So we have a girl with a glass shard, it looks like. We have an eye up here. We have, what else do we have on this cover? We have a lot of eyes. We have like a little flower in the eye up here as well. So let's see if we can find a book that has a girl and eyes on it. I don't know how simple this one's going to be. I don't even know where to look. So let's see what we can find. All right, let's start. I'll look through this stack here. There's a wolf. There's a girl, but with moss. There's a girl and a guy on that cover. No eyes. All right, there's nothing on this bookshelf. Time to look at our card. Here's a book with a girl on it. She technically has 2 eyes. Not quite what we're going for, though. Let me go take a look at my other bookshelf, see if I have anything there, because I am striking out here. All right, so after looking through a lot of books, I cannot find a book that has a person with eyes somewhere on the cover. So the element I've decided to focus on in this book is you can see that her eyes are kind of a focal point on the cover. So I found 2 books where the eyes are focal points as well. So that's that's the element we're going to go with. And the two books that I have are part of the same series, actually. They're both by Julian May, and you can see on both books, the eyes are the focal point of the person. So out of these two, I think we'll go with Magnificent by Julia May, which is the final book in her Galactic Melu series. So you can kind of see how the drawings of both characters kind of draw you to their eyes. So that is the element we're going to say is similar between the two books. So there we go. So this will be our next book that we choose. And we gotta see what prompt is our next one. All right, so the next prompt is to look at how many pages this book is and then to reverse those numbers and find a book that has that number of pages. So this book is, let's see here. All right, there you go. You can see it. 418 pages long. And therefore, we need to find a book that is 814 pages long. So let's go see what long books I have in my book collection. I don't think there's going to be anything over here because these books aren't very long. And I don't think I have a ton. Oh, here's one long book over here. See how many pages this one is. This is Shadow March. This book is, oh, we're getting close. This one is 796 pages long. So far, this is the closest we got. Of course, we have The Eye of the World. I know this book is fairly long as well. And this book is 814 pages, so step closer. I don't think I have any other books on this that are longer. I think this is only like 400 pages. So this is our closest book so far, 814. Let me go look on my other bookshelf, see if I have anything closer. If not, I'll be right back. All right, so I was able to find a book that was only 9 pages off from the 841, and that is Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. And this book is 850 pages long. That's the last number in the book. So this will be the book that fits that prompt. All right, so the next prompt is find what is the most common letter in the title and find a book that starts with that letter. So Outlander, I don't think has any repeats in the letter. So we'll add her name to it too, just so that we can actually do the prompt. It's my scavenger hunt, so I will make up the rules as I go along. So this actually has now 3 N's, but like 5 A's. So we'll find a book that starts with the letter A. All right, so the book we have that starts with the letter A is Another First Chance by Robbie Couch. Another obviously starts with an A. So this is a book that we will go with, and let's see what the next prompt is. So the next prompt is to find a book that has the same color combination as this book. So let's see. This book has a lot of pinks. It has some blues as well. So we need a book that is pink and blue. So let's start taking a look. All right, so this book, it's like a little bit of a darker, but this has definitely some pinks and some blues in it. So if we can't find anything closer, this could be an option. This book has some pinks and blues in it as well. I feel like it fits it a little bit better when you kind of look at it. So I think out of these two, I think this one fits the closest to this cover. So we definitely have the pinks, we definitely have the blues. So I think it kind of has the same color scheme. So we'll go with this book for this prompt. So this is Otherworldly. It's by F.T. Lukens. So let's see what book we're going to choose based off of this one. All right, it says we're going to go to a random page, count to a random number line, and then count how many words are on that line, divide it by 3, and then find a book that has that number of words in the title. So we'll take this one step at a time. So first, let's find a random page. We'll just use a random number generator to do that. So this book has 340 pages. All right, so 1 to 340. Let's see what we get. So page 57. So not too far into the book. All right, we got page 57. Perfect. Let me count the lines, and then we'll choose a random line. So we have 31 lines on this page. So let's choose a random number, 1 through 31. All right, let's see what we get. And we got 16. All right, so this line has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 letters in it. You divide that by 3, you get 3.333, right? So we'll find a book that has a 3-word title. Yeah, 3-word title. All right, so that shouldn't be too hard. We'll just grab the first one that we come across. So we'll start here and work our way down. So welcome to the school. Finley Donovan is killing it. Definitely not 3. We have All In, City of Glass. Oh, there we are. So City of Glass has 3 words in it. Also the 3rd book in the Mortal Instrument series. So we'll go with this one for that prompt. So now let's see what our next prompt is. I'm pretty sure we're getting close to the end here. So for our next prompt, we're going to look at the acknowledgements, find a name in it, and then find a author that shares that same name. Found the acknowledgement page. So let's see what we have in here. We have Elka, Emily, Cleo. We have Holly, Robin, Libba, Maureen, Justine, Scott. We have a lot of names. Barry, Karen, Sarah. All right, we just need one of those names. So we can make this really easy and go with Holly Black or Maureen Johnson because those are the actual names in the acknowledgement, the authors. But I want to make this a little bit more difficult and just choose one of the other names and see if I can find an author from that name. Because I feel like using the author that is being acknowledged in the acknowledgements is a little bit too easy for this prompt. So let me take a look at my TBR cart over here and see if I can find one of these other names like Karen or Barry or Justine. So I found the book we're going to go with. In here there is a Sarah Payne, and I found another author by the first name Sarah, and that is Sarah Daniels, who wrote The Stranded, which looks like a horror book, which is why I'm glad this is not the last book that we're choosing, because I'm not sure if I want to read this one today. So we will go with this one though. Stranded. Ship is their world. To survive, they must end it. And see what, hopefully it's a good prompt that we get off of this one. So it's find a book with a title that has the same number of letters as this title does. So this title has 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we need to find a book that has 11 words in the title. All right, let's see what we got. So these look too long, definitely all too long. Truly Devious is 5 and 7, so almost, that's 12. The Cruel Prince is those are all gonna be too long as well. Mortal World. Hurry. Temptation of Magic. The Crimson Moth, I think, is too long, because that's, yeah. Fragile Enchantment's too long. Darker by 4 is 6, 7, 8. That one's also 12. So close. What we got over here? That one is 10. Alright, how many words is Shadow March? 6. 11. Here we go, we got one. This one is Shadow March by Tad Williams. It's another kind of epic fantasy book. This one, if you count out, 6 words is shadow, 5 is March, 6 plus 5 is 11. So this is the answer to that prompt. That wasn't too bad. I thought it was going to be a little bit more difficult, but not too bad at all. So now we come to our very last prompt. And this prompt that we do next is going to tell us what book we are going to read. So hopefully it's not based off of page numbers or something, because I really don't want a book this long to be the one that is read as part of this video. So let's see. All right, so we're going to flip to a random page, point out a random word, and then we have to find a book that has that word in the title. So here we go. For our final book, it's going to have the word, well, I point to who. So let's see if we can find a book that has who in the title. If not, we'll just go to the next word. None of those have who over there. We need like a good whodunit mystery. So we couldn't find who, so now let's move on and look at the rest of the sentence and pick out some words and see if we can find any books with those words on it. So some good words that we have are royal. That's a good one. Princeling. I feel like we can do princeling. Moved. So I think those are 3 good words. So let's take another look and hopefully we can find a book at least with one of those words. No royal. Royal. Nothing over there. We're looking for royal, move. The Revenant Games. Any royals? Liar's Crown. That's kind of royal. Alright. No royal, moved, or princeling over here. Let me go look at my bigger bookshelves and hopefully we'll find something there. Alright, attempt 1 failed. I could not find any books with those words. So let's do this for the second time and hopefully we will get a good sentence with words that I can find a book. Here we go. So with this one, this is, so I got arm, hands, nose. Like nose, not nose, like nose something. Let's see if we can find something. I got it. We have a book we are going to read. I am so excited. We finally did it and completed the scavenger hunt part of this challenge. Now we just have to read the book. And the book is going to be What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez. I am excited about this. This book has been on several of my TBRs. I just haven't gotten around to reading it. But the premise sounds interesting. And I think this is book 1 in the series. And I thought I saw somewhere that book 2 is coming out soon. So I'll be happy to read this, and if I enjoy it, move on to book 2. This book follows Inez, whose parents are these people that kind of globetrot around the world. And one day when they are off on one of their adventures, she receives this letter saying that her parents have passed away under these mysterious circumstances. So she wants to uncover the truth. So she ends up journeying to the last place that they had been, which happens to be Cairo. And she brings with her some sketch pads as well as this ancient ring that her father had left for her. But when she arrives in Egypt, the ring kind of erupts with this magic, and now she has entered this treacherous game that could threaten her life. And she also gets pushed into the path of her new guardian's infuriatingly handsome assistants who wants to thwart her at every turn. So I'm excited about this book. It sounds like a exciting adventure type book, so hopefully it'll be one that I can get through fairly quickly. I don't think it's too long. Yeah, only 376 pages, so not too bad. So this is the book we'll be reading for the challenge. I'm so excited. I'm excited to mark this off my TBR list. So I'm going to go start reading, and I'll check in with you in a little while. Hey everyone, I'm back. I just wanted to check in. I'm about a third of the way through What the River Knows. I took off the, what's it called? Slipcover, just so I don't ruin it while I'm reading the book. So that's why it looks a little bit different, but you can see on the spine it's still What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez. So I just wanted to check in since right now this is the only place I can record because it's the only place where I can hook up a microphone to my camera at the moment. Eventually, I hope for that to change, but for now, we are stuck down here. So, like I said, I'm about a third of the way through the book, and so far, I'm definitely enjoying it. The plot is moving at a decent pace. I don't feel bogged down anywhere in the story yet, which is pretty good for, the beginning of a book, because that's where I feel like you get bogged down the most. I will say that it starts off so quick that the entire synopsis of this book occurs in like the first 20 pages, where she finds out that her parents are dead. She gets on a ship and journeys to Egypt. And there, the ring that she wears kind of flares with magic. That all happened within the first 20 pages, which is kind of crazy to me because usually the synopsis takes a lot longer to get through. So as far as the characters go, I really enjoy the main character, Inez. She's very spunky, very independent, and definitely is not afraid to go out there and get what she wants. And she's not afraid to break social niceties, I guess you could say. Social etiquette. Not etiquette. Social etiquette. She's not afraid to break that at all. So Inez is originally from Buenos Aires. And she's living with her aunt when she gets a letter from her uncle saying that her parents have died while they are in Egypt. And apparently they travel to Egypt for the majority of the year and come back to Buenos Aires to visit Inez on short little vacations. So she's kind of distraught over the fact that she hasn't had her parents around to grow up because they rather be in Egypt than with her, and they won't take her to Egypt to be with them. So anyway, she gets this letter in the mail that says that her parents have died, and that's kind of all it says, that they got lost in the desert, and that is really the only thing that the letter said. So she wants to find out what really happened to her parents, so she ends up getting on a ship going to Egypt without her aunt knowing, without having a chaperone, which is not, the social thing to do in this day and age in the 1800s. And she ends up in Egypt, meets her uncle, and despite everyone trying to make her go back to Buenos Aires, she digs in her feet, says, "I'm here to stay until I find out what happened to my parents." So you can see she's very, very independent. One of the first people she meets in Egypt is Wit, who works for her uncle and is really kind of like the second main character in this book. And the interaction between the two from the beginning is amazing. I love it. He is this British guy, very stoic, not wanting to show his emotions. She's, of course, spunky, independent, doesn't want to listen to what other people have to say. And she just finds a way to get under his skin in every way possible. Not to mention that she's very stubborn, so if if they tell her to do something, she is probably not going to do it, and she's going to go do things the way that she wants to do them. So really enjoying the interaction between those two, really enjoying Inez as the main character. As far as magic goes, so far there's not a lot of magic in the book. It kind of feels more like a historical novel than a historical fantasy novel at this point. The only magic that is really in the book is that certain objects may have a little bit of magic attached to them that they can do certain things. But magic is not at the forefront of the story at all, at least not at this point. We'll kind of see if magic becomes more prominent as we continue through the book. So like I said, I'm definitely enjoying this book. I can't wait to see what Inez gets up to. I can't wait to see what Wit does to kind of stop her from all the elaborate schemes and ideas that she has. The one interesting thing is that even though I'm a third of the way through this book has taken, the plot of this book has only been over 24 hours. So a third of this book is equal to 1 day. So I'm kind of curious. I'm assuming that the pace is going to get quicker because I don't think Inez is going to be able to find her parents in the next, if the remainder of the book is 2 days, I don't think she's going to be able to find them in the next 2 days, considering that she just got to Egypt and this is her first time there and she has kind of no idea what is going on. So I assume the plot pace is going to get a little bit quicker and that the next, 2/3 of the book are going to occur over more than just 2 days, like the first third of the book did, if that makes sense. It makes sense in my mind. So anyway, let me get back to reading. I will check back in here once I get through the next third of the book and let you know what I'm thinking. I'll see you soon. All right. 2/3 of the way down, 1/3 more to go. The book still keeping my attention, still enjoying it. It hasn't let me down yet. The interaction between Inez and Wit is still the best part of this book for me. I'm really enjoying it. You can tell Wit is hiding some things from Inez, but of course Inez is hiding some things from him. So there's some, interactions that are going on because of that. So her uncle also seems to be hiding some things from Inez. So when Inez got to Egypt, her uncle kind of took her under her wing because of course her parents are dead. So she had nowhere else to turn to as far as guardianship goes. So he had no choice but to kind of take her under her wing. And he is definitely hiding some things from Inez. I don't know if they're good things or bad things, but they are something. And I assume that we'll find out in the last third of the book because they seem like they're going to be integral to the plot. But we'll just have to wait and see what those things are. So Inez is still trying to figure out what happened to her parents. She still doesn't know, which I'm not really that surprised about because we are, those things are usually figured out in the last third of these types of books. I would still classify this as a kind of like an archaeological historical novel with just a touch of magic to it. Magic, it's kind of weird. Magic is very integral to this story, but it also plays a very small part in the story. It's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of cool the way the story is written. I'm enjoying the archaeological portion of this, learning about Egyptian history. I think that's been a lot of fun, and the author based it off of what truly happened in Egypt in the 1800s, where people were just kind of stealing artifacts, taking them to other countries, taking them out of Egypt. And I like the way that the author kind of incorporated that history into the story as well. I know that this is the first book in, I think it's going to be a duology. I'm hoping that not like the main mystery, but that a lot of things get tied up at the end of this story rather than getting pushed on to the second story, and that there are kind of like new mysteries to solve in the second novel of this book. But we'll see. We'll see how the last third of the book goes. Like I said, I'm still enjoying this book and I can't wait to see how it concludes. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say right now at this point in time. I'll check back in, I guess, when I finish this book and I'll give you kind of my final thoughts on it. And I'll let you know if I plan on, reading the second book when it comes out. So I'll see you in a little bit once I have completed this story. All right. I'll see you soon. All right. I have completed the book. I have finally finished reading What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez, which turned out to be 400 pages, not 376 like I originally thought, because the last chapter in this book is a special annotated chapter, and it has the page numbers of that chapter that was annotated. So it was actually 400 pages. But that's okay because we made it through. We completed it. So let me tell you a little bit about what I thought about the last 1/3 of the book, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. So I enjoyed the last 1/3 of this book. First off, still enjoying Wit and Inez's relationship. I love how Inez can get under Wit's skin. So Wit is written as this kind of stoic man who doesn't really show his emotions. And somehow, no matter what scenario they are in, Inez always finds a way to get under his skin and to get him to kind of reveal what he is truly thinking and feeling, which I love their banter, their back and forth throughout this novel. It's definitely one of the high points for me in this novel. So Wit and Inez definitely love the scenes that they have together. Now, as far as the plot goes, I thought I knew what was going on. I thought I had it all figured out about 2/3 of the way through this book, and I did not. I was wrong. There were so many twists and turns in the last 100 pages of this book that there's no way I could have seen any of it coming. When these twists and turns happen, there are just some very, very, very subtle clues that you realize that you missed along the way. There's no way to know without actually getting to the end of the book and seeing what happened, what those clues are, because there's nothing that really sticks out and tells you, oh, this is what's going to happen at the end of the book. All the twists and turns definitely kept me reading. None of them felt like very cheesy twists or turns to me. And they all had reasons to occur, and there was background to the reasons why these twists and turns were happening, which I feel is important when you throw in so many twists and turns at the end of the book. I feel like there needs to be a reason that they're occurring, and something that happened previously that ended in these twists and turns occurring. So overall, I really enjoyed the last third of this book. It definitely kept me reading. I do have one critique, which I was very disappointed about in the end of the story, and that is the epilogue. The epilogue is 2 paragraphs long, less than a page, and it did not need to be in this book. The book ended perfectly for me at the end of the last chapter. There are still mysteries that needed to be solved. There are still things that were happening that would make you want to go on to read the second book in the series, which I think is just a duology, but I'm not 100% sure about that. The epilogue just felt like a cheap way to just ensure readers were going to go on to read the second book. And I don't know, maybe some books need that. I don't feel like this was one of those books that needed that. The epilogue just made the ending feel a little bit cheap to me. So, and so I'm just going to pretend that the epilogue didn't happen, that the book ended on the last page of the last chapter, and I'm excited to read the second book and kind of see where the story is taken from here. I don't think the second book is out yet. I know it's supposed to be published this year, but I don't think it has been yet. But I'll definitely be keeping my eye out for that. So overall, I give this story a 4.5 out of 5. It's definitely a historical fantasy novel, and I haven't really read a lot of historical fantasy novels before. It's never been a genre that really captured my interest. I think the only one I've read was Emily Wiles' Encyclopedia of Fairies, which I finally read and absolutely loved. And then I read this one, which I also absolutely love. So maybe I am a historical fantasy reader. I don't know. We're going to have to keep our eye out for some other historical fantasies just to see if this is a genre that I truly love, or it just happened to be that these are 2 books that I truly love. So that completes our bookshelf challenge. I'm very happy with the book that the challenge chose for me, and I'm very excited that I finally got around to reading this. I hope you enjoy this video. If you've read What the River Knows, please let me know what your thoughts about it were in the comments below. Let me know what you felt about the epilogue as well. I have a couple of future videos that should be coming out within the next week and a half. One will be my episode 3 of my Around the World challenge, where we're going to go to a country in Africa this time. And then, of course, my August TBR, which I am so excited to record and see what my TBR is going to be. Where are we? We are about 11 days from the end of August. I've read about half of the books on my TBR. So we'll see if I can get those next 6-7 books read in the next 10 or 11 days, or else we're going to be having to add another boarding ticket to our board. And I do not want that to happen. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. If you want to see future videos by me, including seeing how my August TBR is going to go, please hit the subscribe button. And I hope the rest of your July goes well, and I will see you in my next video. Take care. Bye!